Alright, we have returned for Tier B of the Challenge Series. It is, has been a bit. Obviously we had the Twisted Invitationals in between, and now I've actually found a chance to record. Talking to people is a time consumer. So yeah, we have Tier B, another 12 race championship. This year, the only ones that are 16 are D and E. And on the left, you can see the participants. We'll see their cars, obviously, when we get into the race. And ironic, as we, if I remember right, I might not be remembering right, we finished the last championship at the Nürburgring GP circuit. Now we're going to be starting this one here at the Nürburgring. At the starting grid for the Nürburgring GP circuit, and you will see that there's a lot of Corvettes in play, other than the one that I'm technically in, that I'm always in as the pace car sort of thing. Yeah, there's 4 different Corvettes racing. Also, in this championship, there are two Lotus cars being represented and 2 different Porsche cars being represented. Each one only has 1 driver. Then there's also 1 Ferrari GTO, 2 Supras, 2 RX-7s, 2 Countachs, and Corvettes. Wayne Hansen is on the front row, along with Linnea Chitose. She and Hyde are making their first appearance in a bit. Or, you know, in some time. It's been a bit since they last raced in the Challenge Series. Wayne Hansen gets away well enough. He's gonna maybe be leading to 1. The RX-7's got better top speed though, and Linnea gonna try something, but I don't think he's gonna get too far. The 2 Supers in the event, Tyler McIntosh and Natsuki Narashi, are too wide. Tyler will be the dominant Super there. JB Wheeler under threat from Barbara Page. There's also 2 Corvettes fighting for 5th place. John DePrisco hasn't moved anywhere yet. Actually, it's Barbara who's done the big moving. As she got ahead of Wheeler, and she also got ahead of Gina on the start. She's up 2 from her start spot. Brad Hunter, who got ahead of Don DeCrisco while the camera was cut away from it. Don himself is under threat from Riley Blanchard, so all 4 Corvettes are already accounted for. Sebastian Sham is making his Challenge Series debut in this event. Driving his personal Porsche 718 that he used to run in the lower divisions of the Challenge Series. Heard there from Travis Wild in the Porsche Panamera. I don't remember. I used to call it the Panorama, but no, it's the Porsche Panamera, I think. Travis definitely had the option to take a Porsche Carrera or a Porsche 718, but he decided, no, I'm going to drive a crazy station wagon because I am a 2-time champion and I do what the heck I want. Basically. Wayne Hansen leads the first lap of the event. It's going to be like a 9-minute long race. Broke a bit early, and Tyler is going to make Linnea pay for that, by possibly anyway. Macintosh fights on the outside. Now you just gotta send it on Lene through that corner, and it doesn't work. He actually, I think, gets into Lene just there. Natsuki will not contest, and so we'll go back to... Oh, she kinda did. Tyler didn't get all the way down there. Another driver making their technical debut in the Challenge Series is June Summers. She's technically been a part of the Challenge Series for a while, but she's mainly resorted to Aston Martins. Behind her, meanwhile, Isabella Flynn, I think, is defending from Hyde Kito in the Ferrari GTO. And Hyde got to the inside, and he will eventually be ahead with that. The Porsches are not being well represented, nor are the Lotuses, nor is the Ferrari. There are 4 different car models that make up the entire top 10 right now, and most of them are Corvettes. It's the 4 Corvettes, the 2 RX-7s, the 2 Countaches, and the 2 Supras. Maybe I should have made this 3 laps, not only because it's really long, but also because it's not been that exciting so far. Tyler is going to try again, the same way that things played out before. So I have little doubt that it's going to end up the same result as well. Isabella fighting back against Hyde. She's also on the outside, but she's got better handling than that GTO. And Tyler did not make that pass either. These 2 are still dead even. The GTO is going to have slightly more power. So I think Hyde is going to have defended his spot. Isabella can send it though, and she's gonna get still there. Now it's the inside for Isabella. And Hyde gets a really botched exit, resulting in Isabella finally taking her spot back. Now he has gotten ahead of fellow Corvette driver Brad Hunter, who's also making his Challenge Series debut here. Yeah, hammer off. Probably should have maybe not had the mic on when I just blew everywhere. One thing to develop now as we go towards turn 1 for the final time. Wayne Hansen has a pretty comfortable lead going into the final lap, probably to the tune of, I would say, about 4 seconds. Tyler's gotta have it done here. Oh yeah, he is out of here. He brakes way more aggressively than Lene does. He still allowed Lene to get back alongside though. I don't really know how that just happened. It seemed like he should have been miles clear at the apex, but he just somehow was not. This time Lene with evasive maneuvers over the curbs, this time will also defend that position. So no real net change there either, and I think that's pretty much the finishing order set. No one else is really in a spot that they could challenge anything. Riley Blanchard has completely missed that corner. But I don't think Bradley Hunter can really do anything with that. Hunter's just gonna send it in. This isn't even a usual passing zone. I haven't really seen the AI try this before. So this is unique. Maybe the AI react differently when trying to pass somebody driving the same car as them. However, there's clearly a reason why they don't try it, because it didn't work at all. Let's see, no prospective changes heading up towards the chicane. So I think it's a clear-cut win here for Wayne Hansen. Wins by only 4 seconds. I figured it'd be more than that, but then they actually picked up the pace on that final lap. Dom DePrisco barely hangs on for one last point. And, I mean, the point standings are pretty obvious. It's just the finishing order. So now we get into Laguna Seca for the second round. Alright, we are here on the starting grid for Laguna Seca, I think. I had a bit of a delay in the recordings, so I kind of forgot what the track was for a second. I think it's Laguna Seca. Anyway, Gina and Hyde are the front row. The lead drivers of Wayne Hansen and Lene are right smack in the middle, and Tyler and Natsuki are not right smack in the middle. A massive, well, decent start from June Summers. It's actually, I think, more just that Hyde got a terrible one. Just a bit of a disclosure, I think the Ibora that June is driving and Hyde's GTO are the worst in the category. Meanwhile, I think the Supra is technically the best one in the category. So, place on my seat right now. There we go. There's JV Wheeler just completely misses turn 4. Here comes another Corvette of Barbara Page to try and take advantage of that. Barbara forces JV off the track, but he's still there-ish. This is actually JV's home circuit as well at Laguna Seca. They're still too wide as they exit the corkscrew. And continuing down the hill, Burt powers out of that corner and he manages to miraculously hang on to his position. This is also a home circuit for Riley, as both live in California. apparently Riley actually got ahead of JB on the start. Wow, June does not have any top speed to show. That is clearly what makes that Evora the worst in the category. It just does not have any sort of top speed. Shan also continues to struggle. Dom DePrisco has totally missed that corner. He's also got some damage from something. He's got it on all four sides of the car, so it's more than just he got hit by one person or he hit one person. This must have been either multiple impacts or he really hit something. Like, a lot. Natsuki looked for a pass on Travis Wild, found nothing. Tyler looking for a pass on Isabella. He will get a better run out of 4, and he might be clear into 5. He can make it with the compromised line, though, question. Well enough. So he is now, well, he's further into the points. He was in them before. Hyde locked the brakes for a very brief moment. Vert and Barbara continue to, like, fight each other. Barbara will actually go around the outside of the final corner, and now 5th place belongs to her. That was a weird place. Yeah, I don't usually manage an overtake there. Like, under normal circumstances in real life, that's a very normal position to pass the final corner. The AI never do it, though. And we've got an absolute conniption in the back. So, on the front straightaway, Natsuki has just passed Travis Wild. And, DePrisco has missed the braking point. Those old Lamborghini Countach brakes from so many years ago, clearly not holding up. And Dom continues on, but I think Travis is just a bit shocked and will probably DNF. June Summers has created an absolutely massive train behind her. 3 of the 4 cars behind her are driving Corvettes. And it's only getting more hectic in the back. Hansen, Lene, and McIntosh are also joining the party in the near future, I think. Hyde sees his opportunity. Meanwhile, Tyler looked for a pass on Lene and got nothing. Hyde is finally clear of June Summers. Meanwhile, Bert and Barbara still going at it. Rye was unable to go 3 wide through the corkscrew, but maybe that's for the best. Oh, this isn't Bert and Barbara. This is Riley and Barbara. They're both blue Corvettes, so I confused myself. I knew I would do that eventually. So Barbara is now up to 4th, and Hyde is finally clear of the Lotus. How far away can he get, and how fast? Meanwhile, Lene sees an opportunity to get around the Countach of Hansen. Hansen has better acceleration, but he had to make a gear shift, and that old transmission is not up to the RX-7 standards, so Lene will get away with that position. So we're braking here for the corkscrew. This is on board with Tyler, and he just gets absolutely annihilated by Isabella Flynn, who was attempting to defend from Natsuki Narashi. And they both brake aggressively. Tyler is not prepared for it because Lene is there. And he has to brake early for the RX-7 driver. And he is absolutely slapped by that Lotus. Isabella also gets into Natsuki a little bit there, but didn't really do anything. So I'm sure. I have no doubt there will be some aggressive words thrown out in the garage later between a number of drivers here. Meanwhile, the group of Corvettes are attempting to just absolutely deposit June Summers down the grid order. Barbara Page will get clear, and that will practically secure a podium finish for her. Oh my god, look at that horsepower. It's so minimal. Oh my god. This has been an absolute domination from Gina Turini, a driver who, despite being the creator of the series, doesn't really have many breakout performances like this one, but she will win Laguna Seca by... Oh, I just dropped my tablet. More than likely like 8 and nearly 9 seconds over second place Hyde Keto. Third place goes to Barbara Page, who started nowhere near the top 10. Travis Wild did eventually complete the race, but I'm sure he'll have some choice words for DePrisco after this. Tyler makes the fastest lap, despite running in 14th. And I guess that's the power of clean air right there. So next up is the Red Bull Ring, and I mean, obviously the points battle is going to be close. We've only done 2 races. The 2 Porsche drivers are the only ones that have not scored anything yet. Technically, the people of interest here will be Lene, Barbara, Wayne, and Gina. Hyde in theory, but not really. So just basically mainly watch Wayne, Gina, Barbara, and Lene, because they'll be the closest to the, lead in the championship going into this one. Alright, the starting grid for Red Bull Ring. And Lene is the pole sitter, so I would be quite surprised she doesn't leave this race as the points leader. Gina is in 4th, so she is in a solid place to mitigate damage to her points lead from Lene. Barbara is workable. She's in 7th, and she can make some pretty easy passes on Sebastian and June, who seem to be lacking power at this track, which favors the cars with horsepower. And Wayne Hansen has been deposited down to 11th on the starting grid, so he will struggle to make up many points, if any at all, in this one. Lene didn't get the start she was aiming for. J.B. Wheeler might be the leader going into this corner. He was the leader going in, and he is probably going to be the leader going out. A bit of grass for him. Gina has held station off the grid. And Riley's just going to sit back and watch the show here as Lene and JV continue to duke it out for the lead. Somebody in the back just sent it. I think that was Bradley Hunter. Up to 6th from 8th going into turn 3. I might as well be turn 2. I don't care, but... Wheeler is now your leader. Riley thought about a send, but thought otherwise. Hunter sending it on Barbara, and I believe that pass is done for you. Behind this is Travis Wild going around June Summers with ease. This Porsche sounds an awful lot like a Corvette. so. Behind this was McIntosh going around Sebastian Sham, who has really not got any horsepower to speak of. He and Summers are going to be fighting just to stay alive here and maybe salvage a point from this event. The acceleration difference between the best car in the category and one of the worst is insane. Riley may have a chance up towards 3 here on the RX-7 driver. She's going to throw it in there. Lene, even with the theoretical better traction on exit, will not matter, as Riley, with her own grass cutting, will take second away. Aikido easily out-drags June Summers. I'd like to remind you that this guy was the champion of the previous tier. I don't know what happened, but now he just looks sad. I don't really know if you could even say it's the car, because Wayne Hansen won a race. So the Countach can obviously do something in Tier B. He's just not able to do it. I think that's time we're getting ahead of Travis Wild. Meanwhile, oh, this is Natsuki up to 9th, out-dragging Aikido down the main straightaway. She started that lap in 13th, by the way, and she's up to 9th. And Tyler is off in search of the Corvettes. Ahead, all 4 of them. Holy crap, the Corvettes are insanity. Gina is closing in on Lene despite them being in the same vehicle. She even broke more aggressively than Lene despite, again, being in the same vehicle. So it's not just the AI that underestimates the RX-7's brakes, it's just Lene that does that. Gina seems to know perfectly well what her car does. You know, in retrospect, Sham, you couldn't really expect much power out of a roadster, could you? I think Dom used up all of his talent getting that one championship. He about ran Sham into nowhere. Isabella gonna have to try and split the other Lotus to make the pass on Wayne Hansen here, but Hansen sends it super far and offs himself, rear-ending June Summers. So that's the overtake for her, or for Isabella. Briscoe gets right up in there. He is making his presence known, to say the least. Obviously, these two have a lot of boiling blood. Well, it's really one-sided. I don't even know if Wayne Hansen remembers Dom too well anymore. But Dom certainly remembers Wayne. And JV can now remember that he has just won this race at Red Bull Ring. Not quite the domination you saw from the last round, but he won by a pretty good margin, considering he won by 3.5 seconds over somebody driving the exact same car as him. Monet takes 3rd place, being the only non-Corvette on the podium. Gina there to kind of keep her honest. Tyler with yet another fastest lap. These guys are still racing for it, and the race is over. And so onwards to the final race of the episode here, we have Brands Hatch. Usually a very 50-50 race as to whether or not it is exciting or 4 laps of just nothing. Points still kind of close. I think the main, people of interest now are Barbara, Riley, Wheeler, Lene, and Gina. Gina kept her points lead by precisely 1 point. The Supra drivers have to start putting something together if they are to prove that they are driving the best car on the grid. Because right now, it doesn't much look like it. Tyler might be driving the fastest right now, but he's not getting the results that somebody with 2 fastest laps usually would be getting. So maybe, with any luck for the Supra drivers, they will start near the front at Brands Hatch. They don't have to make any extra work for themselves, since that is mainly due to the fact that the starting grids have basically kept the Supras on a leash, but has let the RX-7s and the Corvettes, for the most part, roam freely. So, and now Sebastian is the only driver with the 0 points. So clearly he'll need a good starting spot too, because he needs to defend positions he has no means of taking them from anybody other than Summers. Here, the starting grid for Brands Hatch, and rest assured, Lene's points lead is not going to be a thing after this race. However, also rest assured, Gina's not going to be the one taking it from her. It's probably going to be Barbara or Vert. Could be Riley, but that's a distant chance because she has to, pass Barbara and Wheeler. Once again, the Supras are kind of just in the middle, so I don't have huge expectations for them in this race, but this isn't exactly a long tier. We've only got 12 races to do this in, so they / the starting grid will have to get their act together soon if they're going to challenge all of these darn RX-7s and Corvettes for the championship. In theory, we would have like an 8-way battle for it, considering those 6 cars have been going back and forth with it up until now. Dub was the pole sitter. However, Travis Wild got a much better start. And it is chaos going towards Q2. When it comes to the first lap chaos, it doesn't get much more chaotic than at Brands Hatch. That is sure. At least in this game. The Supra's battling out for P7, meanwhile up ahead. I think it's Barbara defended from Vert Wheeler. Vert Wheeler will now have to possibly defend from the other Corvette that's behind him. But I think Riley thought otherwise of that. I don't know what you're doing down there, but it's not going to get you anywhere. Natsuki was the Alpha Super there. Gina is going for it on Isabella. Isabella is sort of forced into the sand because of A, Gina, and B, that corner, C in that corner. Can Duprisco make a challenge for the lead, or will it just be another processional series of events? Can Travis Wilde pull it off again and win a race in a car that has no business winning a race? Well, I don't think it'll be Duprisco making the run for the lead, because here comes Barbara for second place on him. Tom forces himself into the sand for whatever reason, but he's managed to keep all of the Corvettes at bay for now. I thought Bert and Barbara got together for a second. They did not. That overtake puts Barbara back into the podium positions. Riley again looked for a move, but had to back out because there was no space. Gina is slowly making her march towards at least 1 point. Her only goal, her only obstacle between her and that is Wayne Hansen running 10th. Car just doesn't have the power. Barbara's got a good exit on the last turn. She's gonna go again. Will it be successful this time? Again, Duprisco takes a very wide berth for 1. This time he's psyched out by Barbara nearly running into him, and I think that will be her muscling her way by. Isabella runs the fastest lap. From 12. Wow. Gina has since overtaken Hansen. She is now in points. Brad Hunter has been overtaken by both Supras. And both Supras have now also overtaken the Hyde. So they have now advanced to 6th and 7th. Wait, no. He was always behind them, I'm dumb. Yeah, so both Supers have overtaken the Ferrari GTO. The Corvette trio have all cleared Duprisco. And now they're all over Travis Wilde as we head up towards the final lap of this event at Brands Hatch. So we're going to have one more lap. This one should be interesting. Gina up to 9th ahead of Brad Hunter. Next target would be Hyde Keto in the Ferrari if she can get there, which, I mean, she is there, she just has to get alongside. If she gets alongside, I think she's pretty much gotten the move. Travis goes exploring on the outside of 1. Barbara again uses the same muscle over tactic she used on Dominic. This time it's going to pay off though. Travis continues to struggle against Burt Wheeler, but that will not avail him either. Natsuki has entered the picture. She got ahead of Dom in the second half of the racetrack. And she's going to try and pull a fast one on Riley, and then find herself on the curb. Tyler gets ahead of Dominic with ease. You have no power here. Like, literally, none. No, not horsepower, no power, but, like, you have no control here. And the Corvettes are just taking stuff over at this point. They do not care. Perhaps I was wrong, and maybe it's the Corvettes that dominate the vehicle here. Gina got re-overtaken by Brad Hunter somehow. Maybe a missed attempt at passing high, I suppose, so she will get only 10, but in the final lap, Barbara Page will steal away her first win in the Challenge Series from Travis, of all people. Wheeler will take another podium, and the game gave Travis the podium, so he still gets a podium in the Porsche station wagon, basically. Gina gets 1 point, so that'll put her tied with Lene, but I'm thinking that she's lost the points lead to at least one of the Corvettes. Oh, yeah. It's mainly the Corvettes now. Heck, even to say it's anybody more than Wheeler and Barbara would be stretching it. I mean, yeah, technically speaking, top 5 still a race points worth away, but the Corvettes have been nearly immaculate. Vert has scored more than half of, well, okay, that's actually not that impressive. He scored 37 of 60 possible points up to this point, so Sham's still with nothing. I would honestly be surprised if he does get anything. He would have to start, like, on the front row, and it would have to be a track like Magione or Vallelunga that you have a hard time passing at. But considering the rest of the races after that, like in the third episode of this tier, if he doesn't have a point by Magione or Vallelunga, if he doesn't have a point by Vallelunga, he's not going to have one, ever. That Boxster does not have the juice to make up places, so it needs to start top 3 minimum to win a race, or to score points. Win a race is out of the question in that thing. That thing might honestly be a tier A car, same with maybe the Evora, but then again, you don't need them in B anyway, because B tier has the 911 RSR at its disposal, you know, the vehicle that's won both championships in tier B, and the Lotus has the Exige, which in the hands of Isabella is actually doing worse than June. What in the hell? Starting grid gods have really not helped Isabella, but I swear the Lotus Exige is better than the Evora. I mean, you've seen the horsepower on that thing. People have been breezing by that thing like it's in park. But yeah, until the next episode, which, who knows when that'll be, I can't predict my own life.